Pansy, Scott, and Scrawny. How you doing?
Hey guys, yeah, pretty good. James, you're drinking a lot of the Kool-Aid this morning. It sounds like.
No, I've got this still spring water in a Tetra Pak.
Did Envy give you that?
No, DreamHack did.
But no, I think. Do you know what? I actually think that this could be a 3-mapper, but I think it's still going to go NIP's way. I think that Envy actually have a pretty good Inferno. If it wasn't the first map, I'd probably believe even more.
Yeah.
But Envy in the first couple of games in the morning, I don't know what goes on with them. Why can't they play in mornings, James? What's happening here?
They haven't had their Weetabix.
There it is.
Probably, and
Obviously.
I've heard, that's what happens, right? I've got inside sources. They've had Weetabix today.
Oh, they have?
Yep, they've had their Weetabix.
All right,
so
game
I
on.
think they're going to be raring to go. And the game is also raring to go, so we are going to leave you guys to take it away.
Thank you so much. And yeah, we do have a lot to talk about with these guys. I would say for EnVyUs, coming into Inferno at least, let's remove the whole, this is NIP, when they first got Threat on board, Inferno was a great go-to for them. You saw those apps plays coming back out for them, something of a classic, almost 1.6 style that Threat brought in. Very, very strategic, really nicely formed. Now, Threat's come back on full-time. We can get to that in a second. That's why they're starting to look a little bit rejuvenated. But Envy have a good Inferno. And it's the thing that impressed me is mostly their T side and how they approach it. It's very different. They don't necessarily even challenge that much on Banana. They leave RPK at the bottom of T stairs. They just take over second mid, take over apps. They're quite fun to watch. So I think this could be quite an interesting one overall.
I think interesting is absolutely right. This is going to be a good game no matter what. I'm kind of excited to see EnVyUs start off today, just because yesterday we had that question mark, do they start slowly, as they did versus KPI in day #1. And honestly, we saw Scream just come blaring out of the gates. So I'm hoping that we get to see that again. I mean, EnVyUs made a giant leap in form as far as day 1 to day 2. So day 2 to day 3 could potentially be that exact same case.
I would still say, though, that it didn't look like NIP struggled. They played to their own skill level. They didn't dip below, whereas Envy did dip, if I'm honest. You shouldn't be losing games like they did. KPI put up a sick performance. I don't want to take away anything from them, but let's remind ourselves that Envy shouldn't be in that position. They shouldn't be pushed that far. And you can see it frustrating them. You can see it kind of working its way through the camp of players. So, yeah, I'm curious to see what NIP bring on this, though, because I'm saying I don't know how much Threat has been able to do just yet. He came back on full-time pretty soon, pretty recently, leading in towards Cologne. You saw the impact he'd had. NIP playing a little bit more of a tactical approach again, kind of getting the mindsets right, not making those errors that we see consistently, kind of plaguing them before. And it's just because Freiberg was on the analysis desk that we get to hear all the kind of inside workings of how it went, through the kind of in-game leadership changes and how their mentality changed. And even though when you have success in one way, you play boring CS, and some players just don't want to do that. You don't want to play that really, really refined, very, very disciplined. Yes, it's not necessarily all that fun. You know what is fun, though? Winning. So again, you've got to balance it out, right? Now, with Threat back, I wonder if we're going to start seeing that NIP back. That's the big thing for me. I'm curious about that big factor coming back through. But Envy, if they wake up early, if they actually get it going now, the one thing I'm going to be looking at that I'm excited for as well is the fact that Envy won the knife. Scream got 3 kills to win it out, and they chose T-side. And I like their T-side. I think it's better than their CT side overall on this map, or at least the way they approach it. I think it's really, really unique. So this is a great setting for the semi-final here. NIP up against EnVyUs. Inferno to begin with. Let's take this one away.
A little bit of hops here, straight into the pistol as Nip put 3 players towards that B site. Draken looking for some information, just passes by the Balk, and he does spot these Ts starting to move forward. So we see Nip Gaming actually put their 2 A players to the back of pit, and here comes EnVyUs wrapping this back to the B site. Rez wanted to rotate, but it's Forrest now who finds one kind of a kill, and then he goes down. Sixer already able to find that man advantage as Happy lurks towards mid. 2 CTs come walking in, and he's gonna deal with both.
Exist in a very awkward situation here. Players everywhere, still gonna have Happy. Ooh, heads will roll. Okay, Exist. Let's see what you've got for us. A 1v3 to start off with? Wouldn't be bad, would it? I'm gonna be planted. Now, Six is out of this fight for now. He's on the other side. He could become relevant later. It's the 2 players on the site. Now, Exist doesn't have a kit, so time will be a pretty integral piece in this puzzle. And now the first challenge. Nice connection, but RPK's in a good spot. That bike is so hard to remove players off. You can't do damage through the wall on it. He can just literally peek up above it, just show the head, and oh, that's all Exist needs! This is sick from him. 5 bullets left, but time is ticking. He needs to make his move and make it fast. Sixer toying with the idea, but he hears the shot. He knows it's done. Exist does great deals of damage, but cannot get the round.
Awesome attempt there from Exist, coming back up from short. I mean, you mentioned it, that bicycle position just so strong. Very easy way to spot out that short peak. So poor old Exist gets caught, as do those two players towards mid. That was a nice little lurk from Happy. Great just strategy coming in from EnVyUs. You mentioned it, the T side from them is nice to watch, and they already get something from their sleeves. The trick towards the CT spawn is what they throw their way. Draken with the scout. I was going to say, going to get blasted down right away. That frag grenade softens him up. So, of course, he was the biggest threat of all the players on the board, and unfortunately for him, he's weak already.
Now, this is what I'm talking about, though, is the fact that they take over second mid, they leave RPK at the bottom of T stairs, and they don't really do much else. They slow work it back in, but it's a very unique thing. Not many other teams do this. They are fairly unique in this approach, that they don't do that normal exchange between the mollies, the nades, the flashes, and really contest on it early. It's a later, slower build. It will allow NIP some room to breathe and also go for opportunity. But if they're starting to feel out the game, if Envy are aware of this, they check on it very, very rigorously, to say the least, and Rez is going to find out. RPK gets off a good couple of bullets towards Rez, and of course the first kill, so now NIP have to respond accordingly. Perfect
flashbang there from EnVyUs, so going through the methods, going through the movements. I'm not fully committing just yet to this B play. I mean, we even see that bomb starting to rotate back towards the A site. Draken, from the back of spawn, is able to find one, but that's it.
The big problem here is that they've got two players by pit. This crossfire is really, really strong for NIP now. That's the big star as well. He can fall off this. That plays in Forest. He just needs to land that one shot, and that could be it. This is so problematic now for EnVyUs. They still have Scream sitting on 100 with a rifle. That could be their redeeming factor, but that bomb is in a disastrous spot.
Draken's trying to come in from Library as well, so Scream's 2 kills are crucial. Double headshot, but the health so low. And time as well. Scream's gonna find it. 3 frags there as suddenly that A-site push was getting into question. EnVyUs still walk away with the conversion though.
Yeah, it starts getting a little bit awkward at that point, doesn't it? When it gets down to one player. Now, luckily, it's Scream left, right? He's crisp, he's clean, and he takes these fights and it works out well for him. But one more shot. One shot connecting in that could have changed that whole situation. It doesn't. They're back on this. NIP have to respect it now as well. Their money's been pushed back far enough where they don't want to be left in a really awkward situation, so they're fine now. RPK going to slowly build up here. Got a good idea there might be one over by the sandbags, but will he expect the second? Doesn't check on it, but good flashes. Nicely played in the end. They do lose out on one, but shouldn't lose out on much more.
Yeah, just one of those MAC-10s, so very expendable in that situation. Get right. All that remains, coming in from behind here is Scream just blasts him away. And there's EnVyUs, not just with the pistol, but that very clean 3-0 start. Obviously, that second round in question, the third one not so much.
It basically allows Draken on an AWP as well, which is great for NIP. That little bit of additional damage, not just being completely mowed over in the first 3, will at least mean that their money can roll a little further. Now, Get Right's got the UMP, but he's gone full utility. He wants that, which is completely respectable. I really hope that one of them was going to go for it. But again, you don't need to overly invest into that early utility up towards B if you know how Envy like to play. They, as said, here's RPK. You'll see this more often than not. That's why you see that second mid aggression. Draken, what's your timing? Where are you looking at that point? Six is going to walk up and get it for free, but it's Forest. And he was warming up doing that jump during the warm-up time. We'll come back to that as Six are already going to work through towards Speedway, try and deny the rotate, but Exist just bests him. Upgrade the rifle, and now Envy left with 2. Happy and RPK to try and do work.
Happy's going to grab that AWP, and then both players start to fall back here. B is for the taking. Rez, the only line of defense. He's rotated back through construction as we see EnVyUs starting to charge up the banana. Of course, Exist on rotation. He's the player that's lit right now. Rez spotting targets, able to find that first one. RPK is down. Happy with the op, though. Just going to slow things out. I mean, he's got a minute to play off of, so there is no rush. He can find one pick. He just try to charge in, but he's going to actually throw the op over, and I like that.
Yeah, he's keeping an unrecoverable AWP away from Draken, which is good. That keeps a little bit more awkward for an IP. And if he can do anything more, that's brilliant for him. And he actually could find room through CT. It's a bit cheeky, it's a gamble. And there it is. He had a consideration of it, but Rez took the wider peak and it worked out in the end. NIP lock it down with 4. But yeah, let's get back to what we saw at the start there from Forest. He was actually up on that spot that he can jump to himself. Most of the time you need a boost. but he can jump up here all by himself off by the balcony, which means it's incredibly quick. You don't need that double stack instantly towards quad. I wonder if he's going to go back to it. I'll keep an eye on it. It's always quite fun to watch him do it. You know, Forrest is not necessarily known for it, but if you're aware of who Forrest is, his movement is absolutely nuts. But a 3-man play down towards B, they might be getting aggressive here too. And yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to actually push down all the way down Banana here. They're not. So Forrest actually going to play it off calmly here because there's only 2 at A. He doesn't want to go up on that boost himself. It's a bit risky at this point until you maybe get that support play back. And he might consider doing it later down the line. But there is pressure in towards App, so he might not be able to get away with it this time. So he's watching towards Boiler. There's a slither you can see or show on radar. Flash comes in. XMS gets slowed down.
Speaking of slowing down, all the players towards site just not making noise at all, other than, of course, that smoke. But now it's EnVyUs who start to reel away slightly. And because of these deep smokes from NIP, they have been able to hold control of Banana entirely. RPK and Happy just setting that cross and lying in wait, but now Rez gets flashed off the half wall. Flash of his own, no teammate by his side. Again, we saw Rez with crucial kills in the last round.
They're putting a lot of faith in Rez here to solo out B. Exist is the quick rotate, but he's feeling a lot of pressure and they're not moving yet. They're going to have to support him soon. Exist, he's got a molly, but that's it. Rez, how much does he have left? 1 flash. He has to time this perfectly. Going to put it in towards Pit. That'll slow them down, but they're already going to be anti-flash. Catches 1, maybe 2, but he's already overwhelmed. Could have called for help earlier there, I feel. There's a lot of presence being exerted towards Banana. A lot of mollies, flashes, and smokes put up, and he was still there alone. Now it's retake, but it's near and impossible to play retakes on this map unless you get that quick kill to come in. They do have utility, but it's still so tricky.
Yeah, Exist is at least in a good spot to try and contest this. Molotov to the back of the site starts to force the feet of Sixer. Down he goes. Get Right hits the head. And Exist, you can see him just so tempted to push into the bomb site, but it's Scream who decides to duel. And he finds Get Right first. He's going to take Drake in second. And then it is Forrest third, but Exist finally finding something. Happy with the trade frag, and EnVyUs back on the board. Nip to stay at 1.
That was such a heavy lean towards A then from NIP. You had Exist deep in towards CT Arch, kind of playing on the speed while you rotate, but this was nice from Scream taking the fight. You know that a CT's going to be so uncomfortable trying to retake this site, even with everything they had, and he's just going to take those and win it. Now, it's a force up from NIP. It's a bit shaky on what they can get. Rez only on the Deagle, so I'd imagine they'll try and maybe go for something a little naughty on that. Exist has a smoke, maybe a deep smoke and a couple of flashes, but RPK and Six are actually going to challenge this one, so a little bit of a different look there for them. As we are going to see the boosts coming through. Get Right this time on towards a quad boost. It can be wallbanged. Not sure if they're going to even consider it yet, although Forrest did show that he likes to play up in those sort of positions. Rez last time got completely flashed out of this, but there's the flash for him. Blinds up RBK, he gets the info. Doesn't back from this fight either. He has Exist there, but he's holding it off all on his own. Has to try and find a way out here because Exist finally comes through to get the kill.
Ooh, Get Right finds one as well, so his position revealed, but he's just going to retreat immediately back. Draken next to the post, though. He's going to take some fire. Scream trying to spray frantically will find the frag, and that 4 versus 3 still for Nip. But then immediately again, that bomb starts to reel back towards the B site. It's going to be Rez with only the Deagle, and once more Exist towards spawn, so that rotation further back. At least he's got a bit of an off angle.
Yeah, Rez is pretty screwed here. Envy so far are completely punishing NIP's rotates. He's going to head back quite quickly, but they might even hear it now at this point if he's going to be running. Yeah, they are. So they're going to speed up the process, but they don't check the boost. Oh, that's going to be a disaster if he gets one more, but no, it's fine. 30 seconds is still decent time for this. But Exist is very close by. Six is watching that smoke. He knows it's a possibility. Good control in the end from Sixer. And 2 kills for him. But the retake, look at the potential here. Envy are so damn low.
No frag, no Molotov, so they're going to have to use their guns, but that's still a very real possibility as Nip look to split into the site. Down goes Sixer first and foremost. Now it's only Scream, and Get Right clears them from the corner. So NIP able to find a second, and that was a round they crucially needed considering their money.
Yeah, great damage done from Exist there as well, even though he did fall in the end and he couldn't get much more than what he did, but the damage softened them up, allowed Forrest and Get Right to actually pull off the retake, and I almost felt that Scream could have landed that too. He's having a very good game for himself. He's starting to feel it out. You can see him coming into his own, but I think the money's been broken now on the T side. They're down. A couple of players could like buy into this pretty nicely. Happy, of course. So he's going to go on the Superman rifle almost, right? He's going to try and make something happen for himself here. The rest, though, on a bit of an armor, a couple of pistols here and there, and not much more to be seen. 3-man initial play towards B. Maybe that's what they thought could have been the hit, as they knew that the money would be slightly weaker for Envy. It's not the case.
We saw EnVyUs able to win one round yesterday versus Misfits when Scream had that only AK. So we'll see if Happy can do it here today versus NIP. Get right. Already going to fall off of this corner. Draken holds his own. He's going to use the Molotov here to either force the peek or force them back. Rez able to find one. Great aggression off of Banana. Just kind of attacks the back line. And then, again, a peek from Draken. That's another frag here into the hands of NIP. That 5v3 on the board as XMS finds one. Forrest takes another. And that's the gun now down.
We're playing on that smoke. And Forrest here in apps could just walk around at the right time. He does. XMS not going to get another deagle to come through. And Scream, sadly not getting much of a shot. You can see Exist spotting this out. Radar's going to show Exist. And excuse me, it's Draken. It's not only Exist spot. Exist already went down earlier, but Draken, good job from him to fall back. Not allow a Tech-9 to come into play. Not be sloppy with it either. This so far is just good CS from NIP. The rotates weren't perfect. Envy were exploiting it by heading up to B later in the game and kind of playing up Banana. But other than that, it's been a nice recovery here, considering it got a little bit rocky for a while. But Envy now having to kind of ease up on the purchases, buying down to, you know, not much, basically. Just being very light on the purchases. No real meat to this. But if anyone gets a little too overzealous from NIP, if they peek too far, they're going to be punished.
Yeah, we know how formidable EnVyUs can be on these pistols, so never sleep on them. All it's going to take is one or two kills, and suddenly the whole site can crumble. But NIP, again, not looking to get overly aggressive. Get right, playing to the same position. Nice little boost on the back of B. Very passive, very safe, very smart.
Yeah, with no flashes, nades, or smokes, it's going to be hard for Envy to get past people like Exist on B at the moment. He's playing, looks like an off angle by the coils. Scream going to be placed up for a little bit of a view. No one's really that close by. As I said, they're playing pretty deep on the side, and there's still a molly and so much to work through for NIP. I love this angle as well. You really can't hit much of a headshot on that, as you know, boosted at the back by Nubox. You can just mow him down. Doesn't need to crouch on it, can just fall off kindly. Exist goes down. Oh no, Exist stays alive. Even flashed, he's still doing this. And yeah, this is, oh, that's about the only thing that's really come alive here for EnVyUs. Otherwise, a bit of a clean round for NIP, and that's good for them. Keeps their money building. A nice return back into this at 4-4 now.
Tied up already. The Ninjas returning the favor to EnVyUs. Of course, Draken's going to have that AWP still in play. Poor XMS only on that Tech-9 currently, but the 4 AKs as well for Envy. So the buy back from them. Gonna see if RPK is able to punish that bit of Banana aggression we have seen multiple times, and once more here from NIP. They're gonna at least peek and ponder. But immediately EnVyUs, they're gonna head out towards the apps.
The problem is with RPK with a bomb, it doesn't really equate to the right thing. If he gets caught off here, he's very, very ISO. You can see him having to move quite early on this. Now they're going to have to do a big hit towards A, pretty much. They've lost any control towards Banana. There could be players pushed up pretty deep. Smoke going in and mollies and such being thrown down. Envy starting to work their way through apps. Good feel from Forrest there. He's going to hear the tag. He knows they're coming now. He can bait out the sound of the drop off the balcony with just a jump, so he knows he can do this. Flashing towards Pit. That could keep Get Right at bay, and now Forrest waits. He falls back. He waits on the angle. Oh, he messes up his lines. Get Right now has to deal with two, and he does it perfectly. A third too far. But now down to this 2v3, NIP have the upper hand, but there's still a chance.
XMS still up close. He's got that Tech-9. They're going to boost over the smoke here. NIP trying to get tricky, but instead they take some damage. Exist sits on 9. Rez comes in from the back lines, though, and he sprays for both. That's the defuse for NIP. Again, just encapsulating that A site. We could see EnVyUs try this multiple rounds, and because Rez is so quickly nipping at their heels, he's always right behind them.
Gets a little tricky for Envy at this point now, because I wonder how much depth they have. I'm surprised the Forest messed that up, to be fair. It looks so awkward for him. But still, that stack towards Pit is always so tough. But it is a tactical timeout, I can imagine, coming in for Envy now. Time to discuss, as they have hit a bit of a brick wall, even though the scoreline looks close. Oh no, maybe technical, not sure. RPK there, dropping out of the game. So no matter what the issue is, though, Envy do need to consider what they're up to here, because I like the way they approach their T side. It is a tactical one. Okay, that makes sense. I do like the way they approach their T side, but it looks just a little flat when they're being exploited this much. Normally RPK punishes anyone coming down banana. Late or not, it's fine. They like the way they play that. They play retake on it late because they have the utility. But they don't have it this time. And a lot of players, if you ask them, especially about Inferno, what the trick is to it, what the key is to it, is just purely having enough utility, enough money to buy it. As long as you have that, you can keep those, you know, the mollies burning, the double nades down banana, you can keep control over top mid. It's so hard to break back into, unless you have something, you know, very, very tricky to play out with. And EnVy don't seem to have that just yet, and they don't have that, you know, massive amount of firepower from everyone. Scream's here. Scream's turned up in absolute spades. This guy's playing out of his mind, but beyond that, it seems a little quiet.
Just like yesterday on Cobblestone, he had that fantastic start in the opening map, so nice to see it yet again. I can't help but wonder if RPK didn't have bomb in that last round and he was allowed to just kind of linger towards banana, if maybe Rez is kind of filtered back towards the B site, maybe they pick up that kill and they open more options, even just allowing the rest of EnVyUs to really fixate on library side. But ultimately that's not the case. He has to go join them on the execution in. And while they find that bomb plant, it's an IP to find the round. So this tactical pause coming to a close and a buy back on the cards here for EnVy. So 1 point lead on NIP. They've got the op and the AKs to the T side.
Yeah, this could be a difference maker, is what Sixer does in this round and how he intends to open this one up. Draken doesn't like the idea of it. He goes for the early play. Doesn't quite get it done, but that's fine. He can fall off this now. They've done enough. They might have even had a glimpse at Sixer there, knowing that he could be on that AWP. This could be a different look that they try and pull, and a bit of a stack from NIP towards Apps. They know that EnVy like this, and it's not a bad reply. So Get Right and Forest both facing it. And I think you've got Draken playing towards Boiler as well. That's a sweaty angle he's probably watching. It might be the slither towards the bedroom. Not always the easiest one to land, but here we go. No, he's going to back away from this. But he's going to hear the steps. Both of them prepare themselves now. No one really responding on that. Get Right taking a lot of damage. A little bit of a slow play or apply. And this stack towards quad side still stays alive for NIP.
I like how EnVyUs are just using the wall bangs to try and prevent NIP from getting aggressive. Right at the beginning of the round, they started just pummeling the walls with gunfire. Of course, we'll see some teams after a pause just try to turn up the pace and catch their opponents off guard. Draken going for the pick, and then obviously the double up towards the Balk.
This is a great read. Putting Get Right towards B early is exactly the read that NIP didn't seem to have early on. Whether or not they commit to it, yet to be seen. But just the addition of him being here is great. You get that little bit extra mod, you get that extra flash, you support people like Exist and Rez, who haven't really shown much. They're still playing right at the back of sight, so they're allowing so much room here for EnVy. And EnVy might start wondering, why are we able to get up here for free? Get Right gets himself through towards Dark as well. He might just be the ace up the sleeve, right? He waits. If those two fall, he'll then play out, because here it comes. EnVy need to make this hit count.
Exist fully blind to the top of the boxes. Again, the flash, but he's still standing. And he finds the first shot as XMS to the backside. He's able to take two, clears the third, and that's all XMS across the kill feed. Forest and Draken, they're nowhere to be found. That was a fantastic hit from EnVy. The flashbangs allow for XMS to get amongst the defenders, and he just obliterates them from the inside out.
You can see that double check as well from XMS towards Get Right. Like, why is he here? Why has he not shot me? Get Right's trying to play the long game, but yeah, as you said, the flashes to allow them into the site then, that completely blinded everyone up. Exist didn't get away with it. Normally he's almost anti-flash in that spot. Normally you kind of come out of it halfway through and they're still flash, but no, he was so blind. So even with 3 players on B, EnVy still get in there, get the plant, keep 4 alive. Incredibly impressive round from them. They can be very, very proud of that result. And again, it wasn't even just Scream doing it. That was XMS really digging deep. So NIP going to keep hold of their 2 guns. They currently have Draken and Forest, clutching them in their arms. Now, 5-5, back and forth we go, and that's never good for a CT side. Money can be pretty fragile if you win and lose back and forth. They should still be able to get a good buy here, but yeah, XMS allowed to unleash hell as soon as he stepped into that site.
I like to see the way NIP play that B bomb site. I can't help but feel like they read into the lackluster utility of EnVyUs. They assumed, of course, that there wouldn't be any kind of a Molotov execution forcing their feet out, and that's exactly the case, but it was only what was left of the utility, those couple of flashbangs, that still made the difference. So, again, great entry from XMS. EnVyUs gonna go back towards alt mid, just start to pepper the walls yet again, trying to hinder NIP's aggression.
And I like the double up answer. I think it's good. It means that you can you alleviate a little bit of a pressure throughout the map, no matter what you do. So I think Rez is currently being boosted up. Yeah, he is, right on the corner. Exists just being a footstool. You know, he's there for the bigger picture of things. I can't land a shot on this angle, but hopefully Rez can. But we're going to again see a little bit of that early test. This is the angle I was expecting Draken to be holding before, but he was holding it a bit closer. But with that smoke up in mid, he has a little bit more freedom to do so. lets the shot fly but backs away from it. Now, EnVy seem very aware of how NIP like to play this out with Forest on the balcony ledge. You've got Get Right somewhere around short towards quad sometimes, maybe pit. But they're doing really nice hits on this. Drake now falling back a little. Exchange between the utility, but no bomb being moved up yet. So don't believe in it until you see that bomb move.
I feel like EnVyUs have elicited the reaction they would hope for. The Molotov's now expended already. Get Right repositions to the left side, sitting behind the wagon as now the terrorists come filtering forward, but he's fully flashed yet again. Great entry from EnVy. However, no one's crossed, so Get Right just waits. With Draken taking 2, that's the op reigning supreme. And Get Right with a headshot as well. They are just decimating this offense. Sixers, all that remains, and he too toppled a flawless round from Nip.
It's the counter smoke that they put down. They do it so often, even when teams do the full execute hit that comes in. I'm not sure who throws it down out of that, but it's the one smoke that hits towards short and it stops them in their tracks. You can see Draken being allowed to play around this now. Forest and Get Right hit the brakes. They don't play into anything. That's the smoke that really makes it obnoxious. Draken still found him just through it, but still, it makes it so hard to push forward because you're basically open to balcony be able to see you above. Library can still see you. Pit has an advantage, and so does Graveyard. It kind of opens up every option again. So it's a nice way to hinder that. And NIP, of course, have it because they love playing out of apps themselves, so they know how it feels to have that done against you. Now EnVy again down to pistols. Decent armor still brought up on 3, so they can at least make something happen. Maybe a quicker hit this time could work well, as Get Right hopes the wall bang to pay off. And it could have hit someone. I think Happy's not too far off that. Yeah, indeed, if he was a little further back to the wall. But Rez this time going to spot one. A little slow on the trigger. Falls back towards Arch. And it seems like, for now, EnVy take top mid control.
Getting fired, just sectioning EnVy out. So they're going to retreat back to the bottom of mid. Draken gets more aggressive on his angle. And the man flying by towards T-spawn. Now Draken, he wants to fight, and he's going to have to swap back. Exists nowhere near to help, so Draken needs to duel. He's able to find one frag, but Sixer trades it. And so NIP left with no banana control, but at least they have this flank.
It was all about buying time. He's allowed one get all the timing. Okay, Get Right turns around to that point. You've got to feel that maybe that could have gone so wrong. Happy gonna get absolutely murdered. But yeah, he bought time like a champ then. Now EnVy can't quite hit quickly towards B because it bought time for Exist and Rez to get back around there. And just making them commit to try and clear out things like Sandbag, really, really worth the time. So good job to him. Finding 2 is great. Obviously losing out on the AWP isn't exactly what you want, but you know, out of everything that could happen, around on the board's more important here. But this is a very close game between both sides. I'm liking it. Very back and forward, but NIP need to keep this round pretty clean. They want to build up the cash themselves, ensure stability going forward. But you can see EnVy want to take it away. They're just hitting the brakes as well, saying, all right, come at us, guys. We want to keep hold of these guns. And it looks like they're going to opt for the challenge against the classics, Get Right and Forest. And as you can see, the others from the other side pinching in. Scream's going to find one. Tries to keep this one in hand, and no, he does not. They did not keep the AWP. They did not keep the rifle, sadly. They lose out on both. So let's see how their money's sitting at the moment. Yeah, a couple of them on 4K still, but 3 of them a little worse for wear. But yeah, Draken here buying time is brilliant. This whole time he's calling out, hey guys, I need help, I need help. And then just sitting even deeper in towards those, the sandbags, it's fine, that's all he's got to do.
The analyst desk was talking about how everybody from NIP Gaming had at least had some kind of a showing thus far this tournament. And honestly, right now, 4 of the 5 players all sitting just next to 10 frags at least. So again, form on point from Nip as they establish that 2-point lead. What should be a third, seeing as it is just pistols, but RPK is able to use one through the wall, or rather would. Good gun control by Rez. Limiting the risk, but Scream pops his noggin, able to execute through Banana now, and that's just open for the taking. Draken trying to rotate in time, but
no smoke.
Still able to do it. Exactly, no utility, leaves the T side very hindered. You can still jump cross, and that works out, but NIP's still ever so close. At least the bomb's now planted, so great heads-up play from EnVyUs to make the most of a bad situation.
Gotta see if Happy's luck can eventually pay off. XMS is gonna take a fight pretty darn soon. Now Forrest is in trouble. 4 bullets he runs out, and now it's Get Right in a 1v2. Surrounded on either side. Happy does fall, and Sixer is low. The time is of the essence. He's got a smoke to put up to play, but he doesn't know exactly where Sixer is now. He might have lost track of him slightly, but he's outthinking him. He's the classic. It's Get Right, but he can't land the shot. He had the right idea, but Sixer was a little quicker on the trigger, and he gets the job done. EnVy right to NIP's heels now.
Despite the aim punch, Sixer finding a crucial frag, and EnVyUs finding a crucial round. Of course, that's yet again a moment where that banana control falls and there is no rotation nearby for NIP. We've seen it multiple times where Rez needs to call for Exist to come back from spawn, and normally they get ahead of it, but not this time around. EnVyUs getting a freebie, closing that gap back down to 1.
Well, we are back into this. Didn't miss much, don't worry. Just a couple of seconds. All is good. It was a little... It's the first time we've actually seen EnVy fighting for banana control early. This could have been a bit of a difference after that timeout as well, that they just want to at least pressure it a little. Maybe not as early as other teams. They don't do that quick exchange. They don't go for those early fights, but they do play up to it late, and that's fine. That might be a nice switch up for them. But Scream AWPing. You have Sixer, you have Happy, and Scream's AWPing. Is there anything he can't do right now? We'll find out if he can actually land a shot or two here. Draken's on the other side, so main AWPer versus Scream, just overall god-tier player. Well, Draken wins the first fight against Sixer, but it's XMS again. This guy is a god at opening this site. It's all his, right? His name on the back of it. As now, again, NIP having to try and play retake, and it is not friendly. There's still utility on EnVy. It makes it near on impossible.
Yeah, Exist gonna get sectioned out by yet another smoke. Forest with only that single flash, and Scream with another frag. As said, the AWP now, but that's a little team damage, not too big a deal. XMS still able to grab the next frag, and that leaves Forest all alone towards A. EnVyUs able to tie things up 7 apiece, which means this last round will make the difference in the first half.
Does seem like this semi-final will be delivering here. And we see the DreamHack ASTRO Open in Valencia. So both sides putting up a great game to start this matchup off with. So many different factors coming together. I would say this is the strong side for EnVy. It's a good map for them. It's part of their win condition, right? It's part of, if you want to see a third map, if you want to get this win for yourself, EnVy, you know this is where it starts. But, God, what execution on the second shot from XMS there. And now 7-7, we go back into it, but the money has been shattered. NIP buy what they can. It's last round on the first half, so everything's been purchased. They've broken the old piggy bank. And they've got a couple of CZs, some UMPs, and not much more. It's Forrest who's your danger man. Keep your eyes towards him, but beyond that, it should be EnVy fighting this round comfortably. And again, they're pressuring the right places. EnVy already taken over mid control, but Rez gonna get a gun away. That's a nice addition. And this could prompt the response now from EnVy. Do you try and wrap B? You've got good CT arch control. Would you dare do it, though? What's that as stack? So many questions now in the back of their minds. And, oh, that's a shot.
Classic Scream. Forest now towards Pit. He's going to get tested. He's able to line up 2. And that's a double man advantage now for NIP. Last 2 terrorists trying to filter in, but Forest just holds the line. And Ninjas in Pyjamas take that lead moving into the second half.
That was a great half from both sides, though. Thoroughly enjoyable game. I've got to say, this is the CS I wanted to see, because NIP aren't dipping. They're not, getting stressed out. And Forest, if he keeps performing like this, I like, you know what? I think everyone loves watching Forest play well. I think he's one of those players that when he does have those games, you can't help but love CSGO. He makes it look good. Now, it's not just him playing well. He had a nice round in that moment, but it's actually Rez and Draken. The 2 new additions are slotting him very nicely to this. So they're performing here, not looking flustered at all. And let's look at EnVy for a bit, because it was a bit of a shaky start here and there. Some things were a little quieter than others, but then Scream just took the team by the reins and started running with it. He's had enough of them kind of playing to this lesser level that we just don't expect from EnVy. And you know what? Maybe it was a PR line overall, but he seemed to believe it as well. The Kool-Aid has not only been drunk by James Duffield, but Scream's on it too. As long as you believe in it, you'll win it. But the point is that EnVy are right on their heels. They're 1 round away. I would say, though, that EnVy's T side has always been the impressive factor to me. We'll see if they can keep it up now on the CT.
Six are going to buy that kit, double flashbang. That's the utility here for EnVy. On the other side, it's Exist with a smoke double flash to Prime. So RPK going to go for the spot, as seen by NIP in their pistol already. Nip moving in towards the apartments.
Double stack towards Pit. Let's see if those flashes make it down that far. Exist would set it into play. Yeah, he's flashing Pit right now. You can see them going anti-flash. Happy catches the second, though. This is big, but they don't check for him on the balcony ledge. Geralt comes into his own, but oh, it's RPK! Oh, that's 4! He wants the ace, and he might just get it. Rez cowers in the corner, and the tank will not be moved. Rez now gets his head taken off by Sixer, but that was supreme play from RPK. So well played. A nice theory piece from NIP, but that man can make a hell of a lot of difference.
I think this is one of the coolest things about EnVyUs right now is that you have a guy like Scream who on a T side can just turn up the heat, who can get aggressive and just entry like nobody's business. But then you've got a guy like RPK who just locks down bomb sites time and time again. And if he gets those kinds of plays to really get the second half rolling, then all of a sudden EnVyUs could just shift the momentum. We saw it yesterday versus Misfits, a very back and forth half on train, but then when they switched sides, it was EnVyUs all day, and they ran away with the win. What a great way to kickstart this second half. Get right with the ump. Everyone else for the Ninjas on the pistols. Double flashbang already, but Happy finds that headshot. The MP9 paying off and finding the man advantage. Draken's gonna double back to try and go clear this out. They're, of course, leaving one-man res over towards Banana. He's just making sure that their flank is cleared, that they're not getting boxed in, that their options are open. Sixer going to get tested next, but he easily deals with Forrest.
Do recover the UMP. Rez praying that shot would land, but no such luck. Gonna force out a bit of a smoke there, the flash to follow. But really, Envy are holding their ground, and I like it. They're not letting this fall at all. Good flash, though. Doesn't quite connect as well as they'd want. Six are not completely blinded. Allowed to get away with 2 now. This is pretty much most of the threats removed. 6 is the only real vulnerable one, but it's all SMGs. So again, not losing out much, and a clean round is perfect for Envy. They build up money, they build up momentum, and more rounds on the board. Great stuff from Envy now, building themselves into this game. And I'm curious what the eventual plan back here for NIP will be.
They're not going to be able to afford anything in this one. NIP with only a P250. $300 the investment. I believe it's safe to assume EnVyUs should have a field day here in the 18th round.
Zero upgrades as well. Envy know their money's completely wrecked on NIP. So cash should be built. Double stack to apps as well. Both Happy and RPK all in here. RPK's gonna get his first. Forest down. Nice bit of free farm for RPK. Now Happy needs to wait for the response. Or does he get a little ahead of himself? No, and here comes the aggression. They've worked it out. This is nice from Envy. Again, punishing, getting in their face, not allowing NIP a chance really to get much done. Draken praying that someone drops out and doesn't see him. And I can imagine he will be dealt with very soon, and there it is. Happy to pick it up. 4 alive this time, only RPK to fall, so incredibly clean beginning for Envy, and what that basically means is their money is gonna be something brilliant. They're in a great stead, they can keep hold of those UMPs if they want to. Happy actually might stick on this. I'm wondering if he's just gonna go into apps, be a nuisance, try and be a bit of an awkward position for them to deal with. And NIP buying what they can, it's time to go. They need to get one back on the board here, get that first gun round for themselves, build up back into this game. As Draken hits the bounce and gets on towards Banana early, but the early exchange of nades doesn't actually do any damage, really.
Smoke grenade up close by the CT side, so they're not looking for that forward aggression, but still just looking to hang on towards at least the sandbags. Draken trying to predict a bit of a boost, but it's not there. Scream with a nade in hand. RPK clearing corners. Taking minimal risks as, yes, Happy has moved that MP9 into the apps. The Molotov keeps Draken back. That's where XMS is able to execute one. Rez nearly finds the kill on the exit, but it's Get Right to pop the head of Happy over towards apartments. RPK left alone for now as Sixers sectioned off. And NIP are just gearing up for this A site, moving that bomb into the apartments. They can split it 2-2. Currently EnVyUs with 3 players near site. Scream to take control of the archway. Flashbang holds things back for now.
These aren't the ideal setups, but they're going to try and make them work. You need someone to check on Sixer. You need the RPK. Somehow gets flashed here. Goes anti-flash. Nice. Turns away from it. NIP are right on the doorstep now, but it's RPK to find Rez. And now Sixer comes into the matter. Forrest to break one back through, but it's all RPK again. This guy, when it matters, he just turns up.
Just locks down these bomb sites. It's awesome to watch. So consistent with his holds. EnVyUs to a fantastic start now on this CT side. 4 rounds consecutive, all the cash in the world. I mean, I believe the most amount of players they've lost is now 2 at this point. And we bring up kind of, you know, the money situation of EnVyUs. I think Kerrigan did a fantastic interview with HLTV about the importance of money on Inferno, how economy can really control the outcomes on this map. And if you not only start with just the farming of the SMG plays, but then also keeping players alive in gun rounds, EnVyUs have put themselves in a prime spot to just use this momentum to run away now. We saw only 3 rounds to the start of the T side, and it's 5 this time already. Get Right, however, gets that opening headshot, so maybe the 5th in question, because he retrieves himself that M4, and there is still enough utility for NIP to execute with. EnVyUs have to be careful. You'd hate to see them just throw away a round like this. So RPK, gonna do the unthinkable, gets aggressive, comes lurking through apps, and oh my, there are targets aplenty. RPK executes 1, and he's gonna go back for more. Takes down Draken, and he knows, of course, that the T's are ever so close. Sixer is here, primed to peak, but patient as NIP retreat for now.
So much damage done. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide for NIP. RPK, he wants it all. 3 kills. That's the last 2 remaining players. Way up their options. Flash already primed on XMS as soon as contact's made. He's going to put that out, I can imagine. There it goes. Allows Scream to swing on it. Completely blind is Rez, and crisp and clean for Scream. As Envy rack up the rounds. 12 now sit beside their name, merely 8 with NIP, but the good purchase is back with them now. Envy know this is the round that they really can send that message home that this is their map.
What a disgusting smoke.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's the one-way smoke that you can't do anything about.
Here we go, NIP, a crucial round. Draken gonna hang on to that AWP and the bomb as he heads to the bottom of Banana. Meanwhile, NIP just going to start to filter their way out through alt mid, but again, EnVyUs looking to get aggressive inside of the apps, and we're not seeing NIP go for those wall bangs similarly to what EnVyUs did. So this aggression's going to go unpunished for the time being, but fights up close, bound to be. Happy finding at least 1 frag now, but Exist able to trade. RPK going to do the same as he takes those 3 first frags. EnVyUs in a prime spot, but it's a flashbang through mid. Draken up close, has to swap to the sidearm, and Scream's going to deal with it quickly, leaving only Rez. He keeps the eyes to the backside, and he wants to punish the aggression. He will, but there's Sixer yet once more. 3 players up for Envy as they win another gun round.
It's all RPK. You can't get past this guy. You don't often see CT-sided teams or CT teams on Inferno actually vying for full apps control. It's very rare you get this fight anymore, but even just the control on that shot at the end there towards Exist, it's frustrating, I can imagine, for NIP, but you got to think of other options here. If RPK is stopping you in your tracks, you've got to find something else to go to because it's not working. Simple as that. So again, Envy's money, it's got to be pretty decent at this point. Yeah, you're starting to look at almost max money on Sixer, 8K on RPK. Happy's a little low, but that's fine. He can just buy whatever he wants. He'd be dropped out. So yeah, NIP need opportunity. It's hard to get full map control though. If CT teams actually pressure towards apps, that's a lot of things on your checklist to get past. 1, you got to get banana control. 2, top mid control. 3, apps at some point. You know, it's all there. And if Envy aren't letting you take any of it, you're feeling very, very smothered at this point.
I'd love to see at least a little bit of wall banging going on though, because I mean, EnVyUs so successfully curbed NIP's aggression. We saw that 1 round where Get Right and Forrest try to get in through the balcony, and because of all the gunfire, they get no real estate whatsoever. No chance to set up shop, and it's going to be tough without guns, of course, but at least NIP coming into this one with some upgraded pistols and utility as well. That's going to be the buy. Again, 5 points the difference to the favor of the Frenchman. We said, of course, this series could be close, and that Inferno would have to be a great start for Envy, and that's exactly what we've got on the table.
See what their plan is. Probably an apps play. Lots of smokes, do the line of smokes so they can do over towards the balcony ledge, to kind of like 3, maybe 4-1 towards library, and just try and make it through. But the problem is that Envy have been pushed up pretty close, so they're having to expend some of that, you know, flash work and control just to be able to get this far. Now you start to wonder if you're Rez as well. Is anyone going to be coming down banana? Can we fall off this? And at the moment it's just the boost, so that's not too bad. You can flash that corner nice and easy, no problem. Now let's see what hit NIP are going for. It looks, yeah, this. I'm pretty sure this is the kind of 3 to 4 smoke hit on a completely smothering over the pit side. And there it is. Smokes are up, so let's see how they handle this one. It's Happy first and foremost to absolutely pass the test with flying colors. And look at it. Six has found an angle to play with on top of Graveyard. Draken actually gets in pretty close here. It's a 1v2, but the gun unable to be recovered. The dink, the damage, not enough. Nice
attempt, though, from NIP. They at least throw a nice little set piece into that bomb site, but again, Happy passes the test of that hold. And Sixer, quick rotation, able to find another one there. So, 14 rounds for EnVy now. But of course, there's an op on each side. Nice to see Scream still opping, actually. We saw it on the T half, and he's gonna actually translate that yet once more. The op not doing anything towards Banana in that last round. It was never even tested, so they're just gonna go for that exact same boost yet again.
Taking over control. NIP unable to find a route in here. So far, it has been all EnVy. Not sure what the next step in this plan is. Happy priming a flash there, wondering if he's going to play anyone in. RPK being played in off the back of this. Nice little flash, takes the fight. There are 2 players to the right, though, so have to be careful. They don't have much top-mid control, but they have 4 players here, so you know, whichever way you want to swing it, they're still pretty fine.
Ooh, another little boost. XMS, he wants to pry for mid, and there are targets starting to filter through, so that's the bomb now dropped. Kills and information gained for EnVyUs. As a flash and a fire rain out, a smoke will plume. Sixer just holds the line at this point. NIP, they've got themselves the apps control, they have themselves in mid, but this is a heavy stack from EnVyUs on A.
They might be feeling the pressure off that, to be fair. It does look as though they are turning around towards B, but there is still Scream who's AWPing. Flashed off the angle, he knows the pressure's now coming. He's got a smoke grenade and a flash to try and set it off, and yeah, they're gonna go back again. It's the double fake. They've removed the additional man away now. And that's 6 are heading back over towards B. So a good approach from NIP. Again, cerebral play, but it doesn't mean that you're gonna get past RPK. He's still alive, he's still kicking. He's about to be, he can jump up on Happy, I guess, here at this point, yeah, and Happy is completely gonna be unflashed no matter what happens. So Flash comes in, and here we go. RPK is blind, Happy's still alive, but the smoke comes out. This is where it all gets a bit dangerous.
Oh, RPK still able to grab one frag, and Happy's position unknown. Forest completely caught off guard into the 3v2, and through the smoke, Happy finds another. So Exist, with 9 points of health, has to try and clutch this out, but he's cowering in the corner. A quick little headshot could help out, but Happy's gonna pull the trigger, and the retake shines through. EnVy with another round and securing OT. This is a massive challenge for Ninjas, or they're going to lose map 1.
Yeah, EnVy finally starting to play a game that we wanted to see on the first couple of days, but they are meeting the level of NIP and exceeding it. Oh, it's so cheeky from Happy to be in this spot for so long. Sprays into the smoke on the plant spot. And he finds Draken, who wasn't even the planter, but still, he did such a great job. And sadly for Exist at the end, not enough HP to be able to make any fight happen. But this has been a very dominant showing from EnVyUs. Jeremy, I harp on about their T side being very robust, but they will not be moved on this CT side. This could be a very different game now. This could be going all 3. Very likely to be, unless Cash goes very wrong for NIP. Rez taking a lot of damage early from those mollies as EnVy start to work their way down.
They're able to take all of that banana control, but then they reel backwards towards safety. Okay.
Technical timeout. We'll find out what's going on in a second. Not sure what happened. Obviously, with no players dying or anything, any shots being exchanged, still should be fun. Yeah, NIP time, get right timed out. So should be fine. He should be back with us nice and quickly. But overall, this has been a rude awakening for NIP. They've had a relatively, I wouldn't say an easy tournament, but they've shown their strength, is what it is. It hasn't felt like it's a hard tournament yet for them. So they've gone from going through the motions to now suddenly meeting an EnVy that no one's seen this tournament yet. This is a very different look for them. Inferno was their map choice, so not too surprising to see it go their favor, but if you looked at what we'd seen so far, this is a very different look for them. Again, quite a scary EnVy, but always enjoyable to witness. So I think the teams are just readying themselves up here, just waiting for the admins to unpause just to get this one back underway, making sure that everything's good. And there it is. Unpause comes in. We'll be jumping right back into this one. And this is a good purchase for NIP, but it doesn't seem to matter. They've been hitting an absolute wall of EnVy players who just do not give anything up. They are so relentless in this game.
has been a flawless CT side thus far. EnVyUs could literally win this map without losing a single CT round if they can get this one here on the board. But it's going to be a tough one as it is a bye for both sides.
They stack towards B for Envy, but not much more to it than that. Again, just going to go for the play down here. 3 players doing so. A little bit of a tag towards Rez, but not much else to write home about. And you can see the play coming in again. Oh, RPK takes the fight early, and it works so well. He can't continue on to the next. That would have been just icing on the cake, but still a little info gathered. And you can see the rotate now coming in from the rest of Envy.
Able to establish early banana control, able to contest inside of apartments, and then move back towards that A site. EnVyUs remaining very dynamic in this 24th round. And while Ninjas and Pyjamas have themselves alt mid, while they know that banana could be contested, they're just asking themselves questions. They're kerneled up. All 4 players side by side as the flashes come in mid.
It's the same short take they do before, but they might try and wrap Arch just to throw a bit of a curveball, but XMS isn't really falling. It's still going to find 1 and see everything. It does put pressure towards Scream, though, and Scream, he taps down only 1, but it's left Forest all alone here in a 1v2.
He's at least able to get inside of Library, and B is open for the taking, so if he were to just tuck tail and go bomb plant, he could get that after plant attempt, but Sixer's going to start to double back, and Forest is going to buy his time. He does have 30 seconds. But if Happy just stays patient, if he just commits to the pit and doesn't give himself up, Forrest is eventually going to have to reveal himself with the bomb plant. Then it's a question of whether or not Happy is patient enough to wait even further, but that's a massive headshot. Forrest down to 10 points of health. Sixer back in bound. So Forrest just going to desperately try the plant here. No frag, no fire, but Forrest wants the duel. Happy toying with the idea now as Sixer arrives up short. Forrest gonna find 1 headshot, but Happy takes the round, and that's EnVyUs with map number 1.
A great closing moment and a great CT side for Envy, and players turning up that we hadn't seen just yet. There were moments for RPK before where he looked good, but this game was absolutely flawless from him. Scream had the great first half as well and got off to a good start in the second, but overall, you've got to give credit where it's due. Envy haven't had the best tournament up to this point. But whatever happened from yesterday to today, it feels like a very different team. Everything's falling in the right place. They've got a good mental approach as well, which is very different. They're not making the same mistakes. They're not allowing opportunities to build for the other side. And NIP brought out some really nice pieces. Bear in mind, they showed us a couple of the hits that quote-unquote better teams of, but it didn't stick and it was worked out.
Yeah, again, we saw leaps and bounds of progress between day 1 to day 2, and this is now the exact same. Is it only going to be isolated on Inferno, though? That's a question we have to ask ourselves, because I think that Cash is going to be a massive challenge for them. We saw NIP playing that map superbly at ESL Cologne, and so they have a test ahead of them, but at least now they get this buffer. At least now we're guaranteed 3 maps.
Well, we're going to find out if it does go to all 3 in just a second's time. We're going to head to a short break, but when we're back, it's Cash, and it's map 2.